Good morning, everybody. Fergus Dolan here from NALA. You're very welcome to our webinar this morning on Sirko, a Ukrainian folktale, and the Storysack. And we're delighted to have two facilitators from Kilkenny and Carlow, ETB, Carmel O'Neill and Rachel White. Hi, Carmel. Hi, Rachel.
Hello, everyone. How are things?
Carmel and Rachel facilitated two webinars or workshops, last week at the NALA Family Learning Conference on Sirko. So they've kindly agreed to do it again. And my colleague Derv Ryan is helping me with the organization. Hi, Derv.
Hi, everyone.
So I'll hand over to Carmel and Rachel. All the best. Don't forget to contribute. And when they ask you for comments or that, type away in the chat bar. Okay. Bye.
Great. Thanks,
Thank
Fergus.
you.
Can everyone see Sirko up on their screen there?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, that's okay. I was just wondering about that. Give me, bear with me now a second. We'll share the PowerPoint for today.
Yes, that's up now. Yeah.
Great, brilliant.
super.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 100%.
That's great. Well, you're very welcome, everyone, to this morning's online webinar. So today we're going to bring you through a story sack that we created, well, that Ukrainian citizens created as part of a family learning project. And it was intergenerational because we had grandparents and parents and aunties and uncles and children involved in the project. So it was a wonderful project from start to finish. So we're delighted to be here today to share it with you. So we move on. To move on. Yeah, well, there we go. So we'd love if you'd introduce yourselves into the chat box, just to say your name and where you're coming, where the location, not your location, but your center that you're in and your job, and just one word to describe how you're feeling this morning. We'd be delighted if everyone could participate in this. It's lovely to get a bit of background to hear where people, you know, where you're working, whether you're an ALO or a tutor, or family learning tutor, literacy tutor, so or coming from the libraries. So your chat function should be there at the top of the screen. Yeah, we have a couple of chats coming in here now. So there's Fergus from NALA, a bit cold, but looking forward to it. You have Adele.
Yeah, enthusiastic. That's great, Adele. We like to hear that.
Brilliant. And Deirdre, she's an ALO regional literacy. We have some more down here, I think. Interested? Catherine's interested. Dublin City Library.
Hi, Catherine. That's great.
And Emer Corcoran.
Oh, get well soon, Emer.
Sick in bed with the flu.
Yeah.
You're very welcome, everyone. Jared, outreach worker from NALA, feeling happy.
Yeah.
It's not raining in Mayo. Brilliant. And Grace is from Blanchardstown.
Hiya, Grace.
Preschooling parent support. Brilliant.
Great,
So
yeah.
it's great. And Deirdre is feeling good. It's great to hear. Thank you for that. So we give you a little bit about ourselves now, a little bit of background.
Yeah. Sure. So my name is Rachel. I am an ESOL and a family learning tutor. So at the moment I'm actually doing a hug book, which is going really, really well. We've gotten to do some really, really great books with some absolutely fantastic parents. And I also do another family learning morning as well with some other parents in the school. And as I said, I also tutor some ESOL classes as well.
And my name is Carmel O'Neill, and I'm a literacy tutor and family learning coordinator here in Kilkenny. I work with Rachel in St. John's Junior School in Kilkenny on a Friday morning, where we do different intercultural and family learning projects. At the moment, we're actually working on one that is it's a hot air balloon theme, which I noticed actually came up in the toy show at the weekend, which I was kind of slightly raging about because I thought it was our great idea. But it's papier-mâché hot air balloons, and the idea behind this is that we'll showcase it in our local library, and we'll get each parent to write a little piece about why their family is special or a family tradition, and we'll hang it from the hot air balloon. So it'll be something special for the parents to bring their children to over Christmas. And so throughout the year, we're doing different things like this, intercultural wall hangings. We've put a book together as well that the parents compiled, showing all the different nationalities in the school. There's about 27. Also craft classes with parents. I've just started in Johnstown, Skulwara, and working with parents of secondary school children, and we're doing Christmas crafts with a view to then hopefully building something family learning up that can go forward in January. They're actually putting on a show, Billy Elliot, so we're with the parents, we were going to support the costume making and scenery, and that's another project we'll begin. So there's lots going on, isn't there, Rachel?
There really is. It's great. And I suppose from the ESOL perspective as well, there are a huge number of Ukrainian families living in Kilkenny, so it's great to be able to bring them in and help them become part of the community through the classes and through the family learning as well, like what we did during the summer.
Exactly. So this is the plan for today. So just give you a bit of background about the project itself, and what is a Storysack. I know a lot of you might know and have used Storysacks, but we'll run through it anyway for anyone who doesn't know, and we'll talk about why we chose the book Sirko and the learning opportunities that arose from that, and then how we connected with the community and what is happening with the Storysack now. So we spoke a little bit already, didn't we, Rachel?
Yeah, so this is just showing, as we said, as Carmel said, we have the Hugga book. There's plenty of different activities going on with St. John's Junior School. And I think, as Fergus said, we did this presentation or workshop last week at the NALA conference, at the Family Learning Conference, which was, fantastic. And so we get to, we have outreach centres as well, and different, we work through different resource centres and community organisations as well.
Great. And if anyone has any questions as we're going along, please feel free to pop it into the chat, and we'll be delighted to answer them. So for this project, we took the book Sirko. We came across this book completely by accident. It was one of our colleagues, Helen. She was away for the weekend. She saw the book, and all the Ukrainian citizens had come to join English classes. And we were looking for something that would support people just at the end of the academic year and into the summer. So the book itself is a Ukrainian folktale. It's a beautiful story about the friendship between a dog and a wolf, and it was familiar to all the learners. So this was great. There was a great sense of ownership and plenty of opportunities from discussion that came from the book around culture and customs and traditions and food, and we'll look at that a little bit later on. The Storysack then, so Storysack, we decided to get as much learning as we could out of the book and to extend it with a Storysack, and that involved making the props and characters to go along with the book. So this was a great opportunity to share skills and knowledge, and the talents in the group were unbelievable. We were blown away, weren't we?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like Carmel, you always say, our standards wouldn't be high at all.
Yeah, once you can do a tacking stitch.
Yeah, that's it. And that double-sided, the tape.
Yeah, double-sided tape.
There was no need for, they really just took it on and gave it their all. It was great.
Yeah, and you'll see the products later on in the PowerPoint, and there was great sense of pride in the finished piece, and that's why it ended up doing a little bit of traveling around the county, And then, as I mentioned, it was for parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, children, the whole works. So we had everyone in the room together and just chatting about how they first heard of Sirko and what it meant to them. So it was lovely. It was great that it wasn't something that we were impressing on the group, that it was their story and their folktale that they were sharing with us. So in that in itself led to great discussion and like an ownership. So for this project, we located ourselves in the New Park Family Resource Centre in Kilkenny, and we've actually brought the book and Storysack to a story evening in the Kilkenny City Library, and it will actually be shown again there. It's going to have another reading on the 15th of December before Christmas. But you could, for this project, you could base yourself in a resource centre. You could ask for a room in a library or a school, a community hall, or any residential hub. You know, we're looking at bringing another Storysack to. There's a lot of residents in the Spring Hill Hotel here in Kilkenny, so we're looking at doing something with the parents because a lot of their children don't have school placement yet. So to be able to bring it to them and, you know, take the pressure off the parent and help bring about conversational English through a new book.
Yeah, so I suppose the beauty of this project was that, you know, it was just so informal and so relaxed. You know, this particular project took place in New Park Family Resource Centre here in Kilkenny City. And, you know, it was just a very, you know, learners could come when they were able to come. You know, if they needed to be a little bit late or leave early, that was fine. It was open to all to the families. As we said, it was a multi-generational approach to the project. We ran it for 8 weeks. And yeah, as I said, if a learner needed to miss a week or whatever, that was absolutely fine. And you know, actually some of the learners even were able to bring some of the, you know, they would bring their project home, maybe, you know, whatever they were doing for the Storysack. They might bring it home and bring it back. So it was just a very, you know, we had this structure, but it was a very informal structure as well. And I suppose the objectives for this project, we just really wanted to be able to, you know, invite Ukrainian families, you know, into the community, you know, give them this opportunity, I suppose, to, you know, assert themselves and, you know, show this wonderful story of, you know, that's from their culture, that's from their country. But also it was a great opportunity to have very, very informal English conversations through English as well. You know, and I think it's just, you know, they're not sat at a desk, you know, looking at a blackboard, or, you know what I mean? It was just very, very relaxed, and they could just have the chats and just, when, you know, speak English when they felt comfortable to. And, you know, it was just a really, really, you know, a great opportunity for the Ukrainian learners as well. And as I said, all families were welcome, and also that we wanted to invite families in also, so that, you know, we could kind of give them information as well about other courses and other, I suppose, learning opportunities that they might be able to avail of through the ETB as well.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of learners, they might have been engaged on formal English classes or informal English classes already. And if they weren't, then it was, like you're saying, Rachel, it was a great opportunity to kind of let them know that's what we were doing. And I know a lot of centres, you know, say our own centre, for example, we wouldn't be covered to have children on the premises, but that's why the resource centres were great for that reason, wasn't it? And parents, you know, could bring them along, and the children were kept busy as well. So it's lovely that way. Especially because it was during the summer as well. And, you know, it's such a kind of an unusual time as for Ukrainian families, you know, and school place, you know, what was going on. But so it was great, yeah, that they were able to do that. Yeah, exactly. So the book brought about huge learning opportunities. There was so much opportunity for discussion. So having the intergenerational approach and progression through FET, but these were all things that the book kind of led learners onto. We'll just move on there. just missing a slide, I think. Yeah, I think I'm actually missing one or two slides. The book itself, so kind of culture and customs, to be able to share their own, the way of dressing. And we had one lady bring in, she brought in pierogi. It was like a stuffed
kind of a dumpling.
Yeah, like a dumpling with mushroom and onions. So she was sharing, you know, bringing in and sharing her cooking with us. The book itself brought up kind of the opportunity to speak about weddings in Ireland and Ukraine, the differences around that, you know, customs and cultures and social norms as well. Just bear with me now there.
So I suppose it was great to give, you know, I suppose the Ukrainian families just that opportunity to kind of show off and, you know, express their, you know, their culture. And, you know, well, actually one thing someone was saying that they, at Christmas or kind of around the New Year, they would put down like grains of wheat and barley on the ground, and that it's called seeding, and it's to bring prosperity and happiness for the following year. So it was great to hear all these really, really interesting cultural traditions that they have.
Yeah, exactly. And there was pisanki. It's a type of egg that the Ukrainians citizens would use around Easter time, where they paint the egg and they use wax as well. And it's another lovely tradition. Maybe it's something for a further project at Easter time. So sorry there, we were actually missing a slide, but we'll move on now to the Storysack. The opportunities, well, what a Storysack is, I suppose, it's a way of supporting a book and trying to get as much learning out of the book. And Storysacks are wonderful for children, especially younger children, who really immerse themselves in the story when they have the props to go along with it. So with a Storysack, you'd choose the main characters and you would make them. You could be very simply done maybe the character could be on a lollipop stick or a wooden spoon, or they can be sewn and stuffed, depending on the person's ability. Like the beauty of that, of making Storysacks, is you don't have to be a craft expert or by any means. You could be good at gluing or painting, and there's an opportunity for everyone in the making. So
I think something that you always say, Carmel, is there's something for everyone, you know. And even if you could even just like print off pictures from the book and just cut out faces and stick them on a spoon, and there you go, you know what I mean? So it's definitely, you know, there is definitely something there for everyone. That's why it works so well, I think.
Yeah, we had one lady just thinking of another Storysack that we did, and she didn't like sewing, just wasn't of interest to her, but she loved to paint. And now she has everything we do. She loves to paint the backgrounds. Yeah. And we put together a intercultural book at one stage, and she painted a blue background with white clouds, and her page runs through the whole book. It's in the background on each page. So she, you know, it's great pride in that. So there's definitely something for everyone. You don't have to be a whiz on the sewing machine or anything like that, or crochet expert. So yeah, the learning opportunities for the Storysack. So in the planning, what characters do I need? What materials am I going to need? So there's discussion around that. There's kind of quantities, so you're bringing in the numeracy and the literacy all the time in the planning. Then drawing on people's prior knowledge. This is the Sirko Storysack. You'll see it there on your screen. So there's a little bit of it there. We'll get more photos coming up, but the talents that the learners brought to the class were unbelievable and far surpassed anything that we had imagined.
Absolutely,
you know, their sewing skills and crochet skills, and then the learner taking the lead. So when they have the confidence in their own ability, and they can take the ownership and help other people in the group, and that generates more discussion and more conversational English as well. And like Rachel was saying, some learners like to bring their work home because they were enjoying it, and they may not have access to craft materials, that they would have had in Ukraine. And then the opportunity to use different craft materials as well, and to learn something new and to share their skills.
Yeah, so I suppose with the Storysack, as you said, you would, there's a bit of planning involved at the beginning, which is great because we would have done this all through English, as best we could. So that was great. And there's all the different materials. There's wood, you could use maybe wood or canvas, card, paper, stones. There's fantastic story stones that you can make as well. Whatever. And I think this is one of the beauties of the Storysack as well, is that you can use whatever you have at home. You don't need to go off and spend a lot of money on craft materials or anything like that. It's literally whatever you can find, bits of wool, bits of crayons, colors, anything that you have at home. So it's a great that's why I think it does work so well. It's available to all families. You don't need to, it's whatever you have at home. And as you can see there, that there's, if anybody's on Pinterest or anything like that, you can see, you have your expectations and your reality, and they definitely don't always match up. And that's, that's absolutely fine. And you'll see in the next couple of slides that they definitely, the props definitely don't always go to scale, and that's absolutely fine. So in the top right hand corner there, you can actually see some of the props that the learners made. So we have Wolfie there, and actually the learner that made this wolf, she actually made two, and he's absolutely gorgeous, but she made two of those. She made one as kind of a practice one first, and we all thought this was gorgeous, but she said, no, this is just the practice. So then she came back then with this one, and he's absolutely lovely, and you can sort of see then how they're definitely not to scale, because we have the wolf, and then actually just over there in front of the picture you can see that's the dog from the story. So yeah, they're definitely not to scale. And then we have this beautiful painting as well that one of the learners did, and there you can see just the cutting out and everything as well. So it was just a very, very enjoyable process. I think it's a great opportunity for the families to just unplug, just forget about everything that's going on, particularly in Ukraine. They can just relax, sit down, switch off, and just, there's a bit of mindfulness there. They're just focusing on what they're doing. So it always it was just very relaxing, and it was very enjoyable, I think. So there we have more pictures there. So there's a kind of a closer look there at Wolfie, and you can see how absolutely gorgeous he is. Oh, we have him here. Here we have him. So he's great. And there's that beautiful food that one of the learners brought in as well. So, and we have some sausages there actually as well that were made for the project.
Yeah. You can say that there was a whole
so Wolfie there, he actually has the baby in his mouth, which is part of the story. So we can have a look at that, and a kind of an up close picture of the dog, of Sirko. So this is just a slide as well about Sirko Travels, because it was just such a beautiful display, and the learners just put so much work into it. So it really had to be, give their learners the opportunity to just show it off, and also it's great to invite, other learners might see it and might want to become involved with further projects as well. So I think, as Carmel said, we did a reading of Sirko and a display of the Storysack in the library, and we're due to do another one on the 15th. We also did a reading in St. John's primary school.
That was a great day, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, they were great, and we had a lovely parent who read it in Ukrainian for us, and then we read it in English, and the students from the class, I think it was a senior infant class, they had an opportunity then to just kind of, you know, get to touch and feel all the different props. You know, and I think that's what's great about this as well. It's such a tactile activity, you know. So it's something that you could bring to creches, outreach. As you know, we were at the conference last week, the webinar today, and actually it's also going to be on display at our Adult Learning Awards on the 12th of December. So yes, it's great. Yeah.
Yes, the benefits of recognition for the learners. It's an opportunity to display their work, and it provides recognition of the time and effort that they put into, you know, giving their time over. And I know it's a great learning opportunity for them to learn their English, but we also appreciate that, you know, they become involved in the courses and tell their friends. And this was the picture there that you see on screen. It was a lovely evening. Unfortunately, the weather was so bad on that night. It was like storm level, and we had a good turnout considering, but there's, I can just see in the picture there, we have Ludmilla and her husband Vladimir. He wore the traditional dress on the night, and one of the learners, Olga, she was very emotional about having put the Storysack together and the fact that it was being shown off on the night. And she made a little speech at the end just to say that she really hoped that the Storysack would be shown in schools, and that really was for the children, and that was very important to her. And Ludmilla's son, or grandson actually, Michael, you'll see him there to the right of the picture, he actually read the story in Ukrainian, and all the props were displayed. But it was a lovely night, and everyone that was in the library, you know, stood around and listened as well. So it was great for the learners to have a bit of a celebration made of their work. And it's really important for everyone to hear about the culture, and you know, to be proud and to get it out into the community.
Absolutely. I think there is a little bit of negativity sometimes towards Ukrainian citizens, unfortunately. So I think it's great. I think it was knowledge is power, or not, you know, it's bringing Ukrainian citizens into the community, and you know, that allows then, I suppose, other people in the community to see the Ukrainian families and what they're doing, and hopefully it kind of will help bring communities together as well. So yeah.
So as part of our kind of trip to the library to show off the work that the learners had done, we emailed Ola Tchenko. She's the illustrator of the book. So she retold the story and illustrated it, and she's got a series of books available. So Sirko, Kolobok, The Year of Wheat, and The Mitten. But Ola was very good. She sent us a video message for the learners. So I'd like to just share that with you. It was a lovely message. So if you just bear with me 1 minute there now.
Yes, we have a copy of the book here. So we just while Carmel's getting the recording ready, you know, I can just give you this is just the cover of the book. And we have a reading
Carmel.
in a minute.
Okay, hi, Ludmila, Olga, Vladimir, Serge, and Michael. My name is Ola Tkachenko. I'm the illustrator, Ukrainian illustrator in Toronto, Canada. I'm really happy to receive an email from you guys, and I'm really happy that my book Sirko is helpful for your great project for your English classes. I work here, I work as illustrator since 2008, and this is one of my recent projects in Toronto. I did it with support from the Shevchenko Ukrainian Canadian Art Foundation, and yeah, now these books are kind of popular between our community in Canada. So I also have a few other books. So I have Kolobok and Year of Wheat, Kolosok, and The Mitten, it's Rukavechka, and also The Turnip. That's where I use a text from Ivan Franko. It's rhythmic, you know, and So I'm really happy that my books can support people now, support Ukrainians and support those who help Ukrainians and who are interested in Ukrainian culture. So I will be happy if other books will be in use as well. And yeah, thank you very much for your great job in Ireland, in Kilkenny, and that you support our people, that you accept our refugees. I'm working at the moment with Ukrainian Immigrant Service as well, and we experience very hard time accepting many newcomers coming to Canada. So I'm really grateful for everyone's help to our people. We believe that the war will finish soon, that there will be a victory, and yeah. Thank you for staying all together in this. Slava Ukraini.
Yeah, so it's very kind of her, and just so generous with her time to send that on, and I know the learners are absolutely delighted to hear that from Olha. So yeah, we're really pleased to get to see that. Yeah.
So Rachel, you're going to read the book for us
Yes,
now, aren't
sure,
you?
I am indeed. Yes. Yeah. So here we have Sirko, and as you said, it's a Ukrainian folktale, and it's illustrated by Olha Tkachenko, who we just heard from. And I'm going to read it in English, not Ukrainian. Okay, so once upon a time, there was a dog named Sirko. Sirko had faithfully served his owner his whole life. But when he became old and unworthy, the owner drove him away. Sadly, Sirko went into a forest and lay down under a tree to wait for death. A wolf came up to him and asked, "What are you doing here, doggy?" Sirko answered, "I grew old and nobody needs me anymore. My dear owner drove me away. Where should I go?" The wolf felt sorry for Sirko and said, "Do you want me to help you so that your owners will take you back home?" "Can you do that?" Sirko rejoiced. "Oh, please help me, Wolfie. I will pay you back." "All right," said the wolf. "Show me where your owner puts his baby to sleep when his family harvests crops in the field. I will steal that baby and you will jump out and save the owner's baby. They will love you forever then." The owner went to harvest the crops in the field with his family. His wife fed the baby, put him to sleep by a haystack, and went to help her husband. Suddenly, the wolf jumped out of the forest, grabbed the baby and ran. The owner started shouting. His wife burst into tears, and Sirko jumped out of the bush and chased after the wolf. "Get him, Sirko," shouted the owner. Woof, woof. Sirko jumped up to the wolf, who gave the baby back to him and ran to the forest. The dog brought the baby to the owner and his wife. The owners rejoiced. They praised Sirko, fed him, and took him home after work. So, what a beautiful life began for Sirko. Everyone loved and fed him. The owner was praising the old dog to all the neighbors. "Look at our Sirko. What a good dog. He saved our dear son from the wolf." Time passed. The owner was preparing to marry off his eldest daughter. Everybody was getting ready for the wedding. The whole house was full of delicious food. The owner's wife cooked and baked for the guests from dawn till dusk. That is when Sirko remembered his old friend. This is a good chance to thank the wolf. He went into the forest and found the wolf. The wolf was hungry and sad, and Sirko told him, "Come to my house, Wolfie. I want to thank you for all the good you have done for me." Wolf came to Sirko in the evening, right at the time of the wedding. Sirko got the wolf into the house quietly, put him under the table, and went to get some treats. He pulled meat and sausages from the table. The guests got angry, but the owner told them, "Do not bother Sirko. He has done me a great service. He saved my son from the wolf. I will be grateful to him for all my life." As the guests were dancing and singing at the wedding, Sirko grabbed more tasty treats from the table and carried them under the table to the wolf. The wolf gorged it and said, "It feels so good here. It makes me want to sing." "No," shrieked Sirko with fright. "Don't sing or we'll get into trouble." He brought more wine and food to the wolf to keep him quiet. The wolf ate everything and drank all the wine, listened to the songs and said, "Well, now I feel so good, I have to sing. Ow!" he howled. The guests got scared. Some ran, the others hid. "Woof, woof," barked Sirko. The wolf ran away. Sirko followed him. They reached the forest, hugged, and Sirko said, "You were good to me, my friend, and I thanked you back." After that, the wolf lived well, and the owner loved Sirko even more.
Oh,
That's the end.
that's lovely, Rachel. It's a gorgeous story, you know, with a lovely message. It's unusual, I suppose, for wolves and dogs to become friends. And then that's another kind of topic then, dogs and wolves and other stories, you know, what do people remember from their childhood? Yeah. And
it's interesting because the wolf is usually the villain in a story as well. So it's interesting that the wolf is a goodie instead of a baddie.
The hero,
the hero, exactly. And I suppose there's great connection there as well in that, you know, Irish people as well, you know, in Ireland, Irish people absolutely love dogs and adore dogs, and they're very, you know, very popular household pet, but also on farms as well. So it's nice that Ireland and Ukraine have that sort of you know, common
the farming background.
Exactly.
Another opportunity for discussion as well.
So what we'll just ask if you'd like to do next is that there's a part of the book where so Wolfie has helped Sirko and has gone back to the forest, and Sirko is living happily with his lovely family. So just a little activity, just as a way of bringing literacy into if you're doing a story stack like this, if you have a pen and paper, you're just going to choose either Sirko or the wolf, and you're going to write a postcard to Sirko or the wolf about how you are, how things are, either if you're the wolf in the forest or Sirko back with your family. So we'll just take a couple of minutes to just grab a piece of paper and a pen, and you're going to write, as I said, a postcard to either Sirko or the wolf about how you're getting on during that time where they're apart in the story. And if you have any questions, you can just pop them into the chat box there, and we can help you out.
Yeah, and no pressure on this. Only a bit of fun.
Yes, and it's just, as I said, it's just an idea of, you know, of ways of bringing literacy into your story stack or your whatever kind of project you might be doing. Okay, so
this book is actually available in Maynooth Bookshop. That's what it's called. Yeah, so, and they actually have all the series of Ola's illustrated books, and I know one of our colleagues, Helen, she found it by accident. She just picked it up. It was the last one, but I know they will reorder for anyone who's interested. And like, as I said, there's a series of books and they all have beautiful stories and a lovely message behind them as well.
Yeah, so
we've done other story sacks over the years. Lots of stories. Story sacks we find are a great way of kind of getting parents involved initially, because people they're not feeling under pressure. They're kind of working away on something in their hands and they don't feel awkward, and it's a great way of getting people talking without doing it in a very kind of obvious ways. They're kind of, can you pass me the thread there, please? It kind of happens naturally, whereas kind of you're sitting in a formal class, it's a lot different. So we find the story sacks work really well that way. One of the ones we did recently was Snail on the Whale with the parents in St. John's School, and every time we finish one, it then goes to the school as a resource, and we usually get junior and senior infants down to come and act out the story as we're reading it as well. So it's a lovely occasion. But there's definitely room for the multilingual books and family learning within the Ukrainian community, because there's only so many classes you can attend, but these are wonderful that you can bring your children along to as well. And it's
absolutely, I mean, even when we did the reading in St. John's Junior School, it was great for, I suppose, the children who were not Ukrainian that were there. It was a class of mixed nationalities, I suppose. So it was great, I think, for the children who weren't from Ukraine to hear the Ukrainian language and kind of breaking down those barriers. And I think that's very important, and definitely benefits everyone. So hopefully everybody's doing okay with their postcards. we did actually this activity as well at the webinar last week, and we got some very funny ones. It was a bit of resentment, I think, towards the wolf or towards Sirko for not coming back to the wolf quicker and things like that. So
he stayed in a nice cozy home while the wolf was in the forest.
But yeah, hopefully, it was some very, very good ones. So no pressure. So maybe.
Does anyone want to share one?
It's fine. If you don't want to share, that's absolutely fine. But if anybody would like, even 1 or 2 sentences would be great.
It kind of puts yourself in the shoes of the learner, doesn't it? And
that's it.
It's nice.
Yeah, Carmel, I share my one.
Oh,
great. Thank you.
Start the ball rolling, just.
Yeah.
So it's Wolfie to Sirko. Hi Sirko, things good here in the forest. I've plenty of food, but it's a bit lonely. I miss you for the crack, Wolfie.
That's lovely.
Lovely. Yeah, definitely some of the ones we had at the webinar weren't so pleasant. That's great.
Really good. Don't be shy.
Yeah, if anybody, even 1 or 2 sentences would be great.
There was one last week, it was from Wolfie in the forest saying he was hungry like a wolf. You know that song? And somebody had that at the end of their postcard. It was good. Yeah. They don't have to be serious.
Yes, exactly. So maybe we'll just give you maybe another minute or so.
Yeah. Just bear with me there while you're.
So
everyone's very quiet today.
Yeah. It's too early. Okay.
What I wanted. It's just another slide I was going to share with you while you're busy working away there. Get back to my anything else. There was great ideas last week, actually, just about kind of how to recruit people onto your family learning courses. And there was one suggestion that came in from one of the libraries. They were offering parents or children a free homework pass if their parents would come along. They had arranged a walking evening once a week. I just thought it was genius. You know, it's definitely something we'll look at doing as well.
There's nothing like, you know, kids nagging their parents to get them to do something. So.
There was a suggestion yesterday. Maria Kennedy is a homeschool community liaison teacher in Warma in Dublin, and she said they have a school app, and on it she put out a video inviting the parents, because if she sent a text or a note, the parents English wasn't their first language and they might not have been able to read it, but a lot of them could get a video and understand her saying, we need you parents to join this group. So they got more people than they even needed.
Oh,
okay. That's it. I mean, the people are there. It's, I suppose, it's trying just getting them in, and I suppose word of mouth as well is probably you know, that's a great one as well. You want people, kind of learners, to go out into the community and say, oh, project, you must give it a go. You know, I think that tends to work well, you know, but it's just getting the people in the first place.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, I think if there anybody else wants to share their postcard or anything before we move on from that. No, that's fine.
Or if anyone has any questions about the project at all, we'd be happy to answer them.
Absolutely. Or if anybody has any, I suppose, any ideas of maybe if you've done a Storysack in your own practice, if you'd like to share any ideas, that'd be great. We'll write those down. So that'd be, if anybody has kind of what's worked well for you or what hasn't worked well for anyone in the past as well, that'd be great.
There was another idea that came up last week of having a Christmas story time in the library, and for children to come in their pajamas with their parents, and then they give a little goodie bag as well out to all the participants. So that's nice. Thought that was a lovely one. It's kind of a memory as well for children, you know, and something to do on Christmas week as well.
And I think we're talking as well about how, you know, there's all these sort of Santa experiences and things, you know, and they're so expensive, you know, they're really out of reach for for a majority of families, I would say. So to have this something they can do that's Christmassy as a family, and it's very special, and as Carmel said, it's making memories as well. So it's really, really important that, you know, those families get to, you know, have those experiences as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Just another intercultural and intergenerational project that we worked on in St. John's was a wall hanging, where each learner got a square of felt, and on the square of felt they say they might have been from South Africa, or if the people from the different countries couldn't arrive on the morning, you would adopt a country. So you would have the flag, the local dress, the cuisine, how many miles from Ireland. And, you know, that was another lovely project where everyone worked on their own square, and then they were all put together on a big wall hanging at the end. So it's a nice idea for another project.
I think somebody, I think from an ESOL class that she did as well. They did make clay, or they used clay to make different tiles in different, I think, patterns and designs from their own country as well. And they put all the tiles together, and, you know, just to make this beautiful display as well. So there's just, people are just so creative, aren't they? And just come up with absolutely brilliant ideas, and I suppose ways of showing off their different displays and things. So it's great.
Thanks, Adele.
Thank you, Adele. That's great.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
And can I ask a question? I'm going to take liberties because no one else is. I'm just interested if it has come up to these family learning experiences, like parents unmet literacy needs, like have they said things to you, or has it come apparent?
Like we have had, we noticed kind of with the Hug a Book the difference it's made in the child's life. We'd also be able to gauge kind of literacy abilities from filling out the form initially.
Okay.
that's why I suppose with family learning, it's always a really gentle approach to, you know, trying to gauge where somebody is at. But we are very lucky with the group of parents that we've worked with in the local school here, that now they've done QQI level 3 communications, and they're working on intercultural awareness now. And I know one of them wants to go on to become an SNA, and another one a carer. So, you know, it's great to see them taking the path way back to education and building their confidence as well initially. Because I remember when we first started in family learning in St. John's, we had 2 learners for about 6 weeks, and myself and my colleague, we'd be going up to the centre trying to avoid our ALO. Oh, it's going wonderfully. But eventually we built on the numbers, and we ended up, like, we have about 15 on the register, and it's great, but it just needed that time to get going.
I suppose, I mean, that's one of the best things as well, like with Hug a Book, you know, the book is going into the home, you know, and even though it's a children's book, I think it's still, hopefully there might be a little bit of inspiration there for the parents as well, to even just pick up and read through the children's book. That's absolutely fine. I love children's books myself, you know, so it's, I think just even having the books in the home is great, you know. It's really, really, you know, a step towards further learning as well for the entire family, you know, parents included.
Yeah, we had during COVID, we actually did Hug a Book. Now you probably hear us saying Hug a Book, Hug a Book. This idea of Hug a Book came from Hug the Book, which is the idea that Lana McCarthy from Young Ballymun came up with, and we were delighted to be able to join in on that. And somewhere it got lost in translation, it became Hug a Book for us in Kilkenny. But the progression for children and parents in that group has just been amazing. With, like, during COVID we did an online evening class, and just because it was kind of wintry and we thought it'd be a nice kind of cozy thing to do coming up to Christmas. And we had a little boy, he used to join without fail every week, and he even made up a Kahoot for the rest of the group. And we had them do, like, they were doing crafts and they couldn't wait to show us, and they'd be sending pictures. And one little boy, he used to love to read the book, and his reading had come on leaps and bounds according to his mother and teacher. And we had another teacher ring that one of the parents' children, she has dyscalculia. It's like a memory kind of retention, and they were delighted with the book and the resources that went along with it, because they could see that the child was holding on to the information in the book. So it's great to get that feedback to all these different projects that you're doing. You feel like, you know, it's helping people some way.
Yeah, it sounds like a no-brainer. Family learning, like, it really has so much impact, you know.
And like, even though we do resources with the book for Hug a Book, we just think to the parent, like, just to have that time, that 15 minutes of whatever, 30 minutes or however long you can draw the book out, talking about the cover and the textures or whatever. It's just having that precious time with your child to build up that relationship. And then they'll always go looking for that in the future. Even when they're older, they'll still want that time with you no matter what. Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the parents, you know, they'd say that some of the books that we might do in Hug a Book, they might be a little bit younger, say, for their particular, you know, their child, say, but the children don't mind, you know, that you might have an 11-year-old reading something that might be a little bit younger, but he doesn't mind, because he's still getting to sit with his mum and, you know, have that one-on-one time with her. So, you know, it's great, you know, it's really, really special, and it's all about connection, isn't it? So it's great.
Actually, Rachel, you had a great session there the other day. It was the day the banana went bad. It was one of the books. And
yes, so yeah, the banana went bad, but as in the banana went spoiled, like, he was just really old. So he got put in a trolley in a supermarket, and he wasn't impressed, you know, and so did all this other fruit. So he kind of goes a bit rogue, and they decide to escape from the supermarket. And the best part was that he shows his bottom to the cameras. So we did a little activity. So I divided the group into groups of 2 or 3 or something like that anyway, and they had to pick out a piece of paper, and whatever was on the piece of paper, that was the style of dress for their banana. So they picked out, one group got black tie, and then another group got bananas and pajamas. I think the other group got superhero. So then each group then had their bananas, and they had to kind of do them up like what there was on their paper, and then the rest of the group had to guess what it was. We had a bit of a catwalk then, and so it was great fun. Yeah, really fun.
Yeah, Rachel's great at coming up with these weird.
Weird, definitely weird.
I walked into the group one day, and so did our homeschool, and the atmosphere was just electric. Like it was one day she had handed out cardboard boxes of different sizes and asked parents to make a list of all the things you could use the box for, and it was just such fun. Like they were coming up with
a car park. Yeah, so it was good fun. So
I don't think we'd any takers on our postcards that I can see anyway.
That's okay. That's okay. That's fine.
But I'm delighted to see the messages. At least you feel like you've got something out of the session this morning, so it's great. Yeah. Thanks, Grace.
Yeah, I just say to Rachel and Carmel, thanks so much. Such enthusiasm there and such variety of ideas, and the book was really lovely. The story was lovely, and the puppets and the pictures from it and the haystack look just fantastic. So I know that Storysack is just a great way of bringing parents and children together and loving a book together and loving reading it and loving making it, and you brought that out to us really well, and it's a lovely story, Sirko. So if there aren't any other questions there, we might just wrap it up. I see a few more comments coming in, people saying thanks very much, really interesting, they love the opportunity. So thanks everyone for your positive feedback to Carmel and Rachel. So, and thanks everyone for joining this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. It seems like you did. People are saying they're very informative and a fabulous initiative. So well done. Thanks Carmel and Rachel, and thanks everyone for joining in. And Carmel and Rachel are going to send me the presentation after, and I'll forward it on to everyone who's registered for today. So thanks everyone. Thanks Carmel and Rachel. Thanks
Thank you
to
very much.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Take
you
care.
all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.